My name is Ian Short. I'm Broadleaf Silviculture Researcher, and I'm just going to talk to you very briefly about growing quality broadleaves. Now, when we're looking at growing quality broadleaves, first of all, we need to decide, are broadleaves correct for us, and what species is correct. So the first port of call is to look down and dig a soil pit to have a look to see what soil you have. Once you've found out what soil is, you then match the soil with the species. And once you've decided on the species, plant good quality stock of the species that you're interested in. Once you have those trees down in the ground, we're then starting to look a little bit higher. We're looking at the vegetation and the grass around those trees, and we do vegetation management. And we have a leaflet here in Teagasc that's available on the Teagasc website that's all about vegetation control in forestry. So we're looking then a little bit higher as the trees grow a bit taller. We then go into formative shaping. And formative shaping of broadleaves is where we take off some of those branches that are causing defects in the trees. Our aim is to get some good quality, good straight trees growing, and to do that we may need to prune some branches. And we can use simple tools like the secateurs and the loppers, and those are there to remove some of those branches. And we can see the effect of doing some of that pruning on some of these logs that I have here. So this is a poplar tree that was formatively shaped when it was quite young, and you can see there's a branch here that was pruned off, and then the tree has grown over that. But if we don't prune the branches, we then end up with something like this, where the branches, as you can see, have continued on growing and the tree has continued growing. I end up with what we call a large defect core, which is where we have these defects where the branches are, that when you're pruning, you don't end up with those defects. Now, one of the main things for formative shaping and then later pruning as well is to remove forks. And forks are where you get two branches at the top of the tree growing together like this. If you remove one of those forks or one of those branches, you'll then get a straighter tree. And this is a tree that has a fork, and when you look inside you can see how that fork continued growing over the number of years, and this has caused a weak point in this tree because you can see how the bark is occluded within the tree, and this is now a weak point for the tree, and it could potentially in later years one of these branches could then fall away from the tree, and that tree is then of no use other than perhaps firewood. So formative shaping is important, and pruning is also important. Pruning is where we're taking branches off that are higher up in the tree. So we're now looking higher up into the trees have grown, and we're now doing pruning. At the same time as you're doing pruning, you may also be doing first thinning and tending of broadleaves. And this is where the trees are now 10 to 12 meters tall, and they're competing with each other. So we select our good quality trees. Those are ones that are vigorous, they have good stem form, so they're nice and straight, they have minimal defects and no disease, and a good distribution of those trees across your whole areas. No point having all your good trees in one corner and all the others there's no good trees. So you want to distribute them through the plantation as evenly as you can, and then we select those trees, mark those trees, and then remove competitors from around those trees. By removing those competitors, you're ensuring that those good quality trees that you've spent time and effort on in the past are then continuing to grow and continuing to be vigorous, and will then later on will produce good quality sawlog timber for you. So I think that's about all I'd like to say to you, other than there's more information available on the Teagasc website. We have a number of different videos about broadleaf management, and there's a lot of publications there, including the guidelines on the tending and thinning of broadleaves. So I'd like to thank you very much for your attention, and I wish you good luck with your plantations. Thank you.